Welcome everyone, it's Jessica with Jessica Depew Wellness. Welcome to Favorite Moment Friday, and I'm here in my office. It's a beautiful day outside, the baby is napping, and so that in and of itself is my favorite moment, baby napping. Love this time of day. And hey, oh my goodness, what a week it's been. I, just yesterday, finished the final videos for my course. And so just so you know a little bit about this thing that I've been working on, whether or not it's a thing you're interested in or not, the process of it has felt like some sort of Greek mythology because I started gestating this idea to put together this program for busy moms. And believe it or not, I started putting it together while I was pregnant with Clover. And so I went to this conference out in San Francisco to learn how to do it and to learn some of the tech pieces that I wasn't too savvy with. I took my husband with me because he's really good at that kind of thing. And we go out to this conference, fly out to the West Coast, and I was about 2 months pregnant at the time, or 3. And y'all, I was so sick. I remember getting out there and just feeling like, what am I doing? Why am I here? What is happening? What do I think I'm going to do? And I was just having to leave the seminar every half hour or so to go and be sick, and it was not a good thing. So I got home and I was very discouraged, and we were right into the holidays, and then of course pregnancy and newborn, and to now 18 months later, my daughter's 18 months, and so that was about 2 years ago, to have it to come to some sort of precipice and some sort of like sense of completion. Oh my goodness. And so yesterday, as I finished it, I'm like by myself in the yoga studio, and I knew I'd finished the last video, and I was looking around and like, yay, and no one was there except my dog Charlie. And so I was like, Charlie, I finished. And he didn't care, he was just sniffing the air and wagging his tail. I mean, I guess he didn't understand me. And so I thought, okay, I'm so jubilant, and I just thought, I wonder if I can still do a cartwheel. And it turns out I can. I can still do a cartwheel. And so I did a cartwheel yesterday in my yoga studio. Now, I don't know how elegant of a cartwheel it was. I don't know if it looked like kind of floppy and ridiculous, but I did a cartwheel because I was so happy. I don't know if you've ever had something like this where you had this just big looming project that with all these multiple pieces, and you finally get it kind of all together, and it starts to come together, and it starts to look like a thing. And it really is an exciting thing. It's sort of like if you ever build a house, and at first it's sort of like a hot mess. You go in and there's just slabs and concrete and rafters, and you walk in day after day and you're like, oh, is this ever going to be done? And then finally maybe you start seeing some sheetrock, and then you start seeing it painted, and you see the floor, and it starts to come together, and it's like, it's just so exciting, this process of creation. But it is not without its challenges, and I am not a real techie person, so I've had to overcome some technological know-how, and I've had to learn how to do that, and I've had to learn lighting for the videos. I've had to, get time away from my toddler, which has been a huge obstacle. But I'm really proud of myself to have done all this and come up against so much resistance and to kept going. And it's just a testament to Sankalpa and to the resolve that we make as yogis. And if you're not familiar with that word, Sankalpa just means resolve. And it's no longer a resolve from your intellect or from your will. It's a resolve that comes from deep within your psyche and deep within your soul. And so it is no longer you reaching for a thing. It is the thing now driving you. And so that's my favorite moment by far this week, to have that done. But listen, I've been seeing a lot of things in my newsfeed, as I know have you, around like just the New Year's thing that's very popular right now, which is do more. Join my boot camp, join my fitness program, do this next thing, join this next challenge or whatever. And those things are great. However, here's what I would say. You might not be the kind of person who needs that. And this is the thing about advice. Sometimes moms especially, I think we get bad advice from the media because it's always like do more, be more, accomplish more, be more focused, be more in shape, be more healthy, be more of this, be more of that. And if you're a mom, you're already stretched pretty thin. And so that's bad advice for you. And then I see the opposite end of the spectrum, which is this whole, bear with me in my sarcasm, this whole self-care movement, which is the self-care movement is, oh, you're fine the way you are. Just, everything's fine. It's all going to work out. Everything is wonderful. And just, we kind of use that a little bit, that self-care label as an excuse to just sort of kick back and rest on our laurels and not care. And that's not balance either. That's bad advice too. And so the thing is that not the same advice is good for all the same people. If you're in a mojo right now where you're very lethargic and you're not really active and you're eating not great and you're not sleeping well and you're feeling terrible, well then the self-care thing around like, oh, just rest, just take care of yourself, the way that we spin that is not going to be of benefit to you. Nor is this other thing where, if you're the kind of person who tends to go and be busy all the time and fills every second of the day with some kind of activity or some kind of volunteer work or some kind of exercise or some kind of cooking or shopping or going or doing or planning, it's like you have to know what it is that you need. And very few of us tend to see ourselves very clearly. It's like we tend to know something's not quite working and then we do more of the thing that got us into the situation of it not working. And so what is the remedy to that? Well, the remedy is all roads lead to meditation, just like all roads lead to Rome. And the reason for that is that when you meditate, you begin to see your own thinking and see your own patterning, and you have an ability to see your tendencies in a way that you can now be more prescriptive with yourself. Instead of reactive, like, oh, this is the way I always do things, so I'll keep doing more of the things. You now have that little dollop of space where you can go, well, maybe since I always tend to, whatever, fill in the blank, what if just this one time I did the opposite? Or I added something that maybe was a little uncomfortable or maybe a little out of the ordinary? Because in general, that's often what we need. And so it's bad advice, just this blanket advice for everyone. Go work out, join a thing, do this. If you need that, yes, it's great advice. But if you don't, it's not great. And so to see yourself clearly requires a lucid mind. And how do you keep a lucid and clear mind? Meditation. And I want to help you with some resources for that. And so I had a few of you reach out to me last week when I spoke of meditation, but I'd like you to reach out to me again if I haven't answered you, just remind me. But if you're listening to this for the first time and you're interested in meditation and you'd like to know a little bit more about that and how it can benefit your life, then please let me know. I'm going to point you to some great free resources. And the next thing I would say is that even if you're a little skeptical around it, just consider what it might mean for your life and what it might mean for your anxiety levels, what it might mean for better sleep. This whole course that I've put together, it's addressing these 4 areas: how you think, how you move, what you eat, and how you sleep. And I really believe those 4 areas are the ways that we take control of our life, and that is self-care. Self-care is not massages and pedicures and girls' nights, although those things are fun. Self-care is habits that are just daily supporting the best quality of life possible for you, whatever that is. And, another thing I'll say, though, if you're not a meditator and you want to know what you need, a little clue is that if you hear things like, take a break and rest, take a break, slow down, and you hear that and you go, oh, well, I can't do that. I would be lazy. What might happen? All the stuff won't get done. If you're afraid of being lazy, probably you're not lazy. Lazy people don't worry about being lazy because they're lazy. So if you hear that advice or you hear that little suggestion and you're like, maybe take a look at that little bit of discomfort that is calling you to go up against the grain of what you always do, because sometimes there's great healing in that. And on the other end of the spectrum, if you hear like, join a workout program, go do a thing, and you're like, well, maybe that little bit of resistance is calling you to take a look at that. Because generally when we have a reaction, kind of like a little visceral, that first thing is something to pay attention to. But if you want to know how to be really steeped in self-knowledge and how to really see yourself clearly, consistently, all roads lead to Rome. all roads lead back to meditation. And it does, by the way, depend on the kind of meditation you do. There are so many resources out there now. And you want to take care that if you're taking the time and carving away the space to sit down and close your eyes and breathe for any amount of time, even 5 minutes, that what you're doing in those 5 minutes or 10 minutes or however long, what you're doing is going to be of the most impact to your nervous system and have the most lasting effects on your psychology. And not all meditations are created equal. And so if you'd like some good resources, again, please reach out to me. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Friday. What are your favorite moments? If you don't have any favorite moments, were you looking for any? Make sure you look for some. Please comment and tell me what yours are. I love to see pictures of your kids and hear funny things that happened to you this week. And I will see you next week. I've got a really cool interview coming up. I'm going to be sharing more about that later on a podcast. I've been asked to be on a podcast, so I'm going to come and do that next week. And then I'm going to be interviewing a really awesome lady who wrote a really awesome book the week after that. So a lot of fun things on the horizon, so stay tuned. This is Jessica with Jessica Depew Wellness. Happy Friday. I'll see you next time. Namaste.